Welcome to OPACs stink, but you can still use them. In this tutorial, we'll explore a process of searching an OPAC using its contents and structure so as to not be pulling our hair out at the end. First, let's consider why OPACs stink. OPAC contents are classified according to the hierarchical and highly specific Dewey and Library of Congress systems, which predate the digital age. They don't contain keywords or search terms. OPACs aren't structured like websites. As a matter of fact, the Dewey system, which is found in many OPACs, dates back to 1876. Therefore, OPAC entries aren't accessible to search engines, which use web crawlers and vocabulary lists to build results. And users aren't likely to match LC or Dewey subject headings when using an OPAC search function. Finally, bibliographic entries usually lack the tags that search engines like to see. So people get frustrated when they can't use OPACs like Google. They think that OPACs stink. The fact is that the OPAC retains the form of the old card catalog as we've known it forever being since about 1840. At the end of the day, we're using a 19th century tool for the 21st century task of information retrieval. This tool, the OPAC, was created to store, identify, and find things, not information. So the key to successfully using an OPAC is to identify the things that contain relevant information. Look at it this way. Well, think about what an OPAC really is. It's a list of a library's resources arranged by the titles, subjects, and authors or creators of those resources. The OPAC is a database. We know that a database is a collection of records consisting of information displayed in fields. Information can be retrieved from a database through queries matching the contents of fields. What fields do we find in an OPAC? Aside from author and title, we find the subject headings that we just mentioned, derived from the Dewey and LC systems. So, logically speaking, if a subject heading resides in a field in a database entry, aka a bibliographic record, we can use that heading to find other entries or bibliographic records containing that field. And that way we find good, relevant results using an OPAC. So here's what we'll do. We'll search an OPAC by a subject, narrow our search results, explore a bibliographic record for subject headings, and select and use a subject heading as a search term. To start, we'll pull up the catalog of the Denver Public Library, which puts us right into a quick search box. We'd like to look for resources on the Civil War today, so we'll type that into the box. As we type, we get some suggestions for keywords. We like the first one, so we'll click on that. The OPAC then tells us it has about 2,800 resources whose contents match that keyword. We'd like to stick to the subject field, so to be sure the system knows that, we'll select the subject field and we'll choose the book format because we want books. We click on the search button, wait for the system to work, and we find that we have 2,500 books in this OPAC whose contents supposedly match the keyword U.S. History Civil War. At this point, we're ready to narrow the search a little bit. So we go to the left, choose adult level literature, and we want history, so we'll ask for nonfiction. We're down at this point to 928 books, but we're still relying on the keyword, so we're not really sure that we've got the most relevant results or that the contents of all the results will match our keyword. We're going to narrow it a little bit more by subject. We expand the subject list and scroll down to find women in the Civil War. We'll click on that Now we're down to 16 books. First of all, that's not very many books. And secondly, we're still relying on this keyword. So, in order to find more relevant results, we'll go down to one of the listings. We like Scarlett doesn't live here anymore. And we'll pull up the bibliographic record by clicking on the Full Details button. We find 5 Dewey subject headings, the first one being just what we want. So we're going to highlight that. Let's try that again. Do a quick copy. Go back to our search results page. Clear the search box and paste that Dewey subject heading into the search box. Okay, at this point we're ready to search again. Now we have 73 books. We'll check the record of one of these books to make sure that search term's in there. Scrolling down, the last one is exactly what we searched on, so we've found books whose bibliographic records contain a Dewey subject heading that was assigned by a librarian who looked at the book and knew that the subject of that book matched that subject heading. So we found good, relevant results. At this point, let's review what we did. We searched an OPAC by a subject, narrowed the search results, explored a bibliographic record for subject headings, and selected and used a subject heading as a search term. We looked inside the records using a Dewey subject heading in order to match records that produce relevant results. So we decide at this point OPACs don't stink too much. And we conclude with a special shout out to Gertrude Stein, who inspired our search by saying, "There never will be anything more interesting than that American Civil War." Thanks for watching and listening, and happy hunting on the OPAC.